And so at Hidden Road, we've been pretty consistent with this from the start that we think crypto is the seventh liquid investable asset class. It's encouraging. There's lots of folks now referring to it in the same way. Investors, retail and institutional, all have their money invested in 6 asset classes: equities, credit, rates, commodities, real estate, and cash. And crypto is definitely the 7th.
Alrighty, everybody, what is going on? Welcome back to another CYPRX video banger. In today's video breakdown, I want to show you guys physical proof from industry-leading experts that we are currently in the process and in the midst of a massive global reset, where they are right now, for a fact, building out an entirely new financial system. They are upgrading the old, outdated financial infrastructure, and they are building an entirely new world.
Just some statistics for you, right? The cryptocurrency market capitalization or size, over 3 trillion, right? Depending on, I know we have these variations, so depending on, this morning when I got up, it was over 3 trillion. It may have gone down or up by now. If you look at another statistics, digital wallets, we're expecting by 2030 to have 5.6 billion digital wallets, right, in operation. And if you look at one more statistic, which sort of mentions what will indicate why we're involved, mobile phones, right? We're expecting over 8 billion mobile phones to be in operation by 2030. Right? You start putting these technologies together. You have the wallet, which is the interaction point, or the wallet and AI agents in the future, the interaction point for financial services. So that side of the business is changing. If you look at the cryptocurrency market, digital ownership, that is certainly coming into play. And of course, everything needs to be connected, which is why we're involved. In terms of real-world applications of blockchain, the focus for us has always been on convergence, right? So, one of my sayings is, we're building a new digital financial infrastructure for a new digital world. We're building a new digital financial infrastructure for a new digital world.
I think it's a very, very different world than it was even, I would say, maybe 4 months ago.
And it feels like we're in a new world where we're going to have really true regulatory clarity.
That financial infrastructure will include connectivity, it will include fintech, it will include blockchain, it will include AI.
We've also gotten confirmation on stage from recent panelists and people from large organizations like Ripple mentioning that the reset button has been pressed.
And the reset button has now been pressed. And the Securities and Exchange Commission, which was the architect of this war on crypto, has said just that. We created a mess, quote unquote. We need to first tell you what the law is before we bring enforcement actions. And they've now dismissed all of the pending enforcement actions, which is a great thing.
This is no longer a conspiracy. It is the forward to your future. And right now, we are living through what they openly call the Great Reset. Economies are being reshaped, supply chains are being rewired, social norms and expectations are being revised. This is no longer a forecast. It is already happening. And while most people are distracted, the architecture of the new world is being designed behind closed doors. And here at CYPRX, we are attempting to show you guys that physical proof so that way you have time to wake up and prepare. We have to understand that the world is not going back to normal. Now is the time to pay attention. So we're going to start here with today's video breakdown. And I want to read this document from KPMG. KPMG is one of the top 4, I believe, global consulting firms. And this is titled The Great Reset, 2025 edition, Emerging Trends in Infrastructure and Transport. And here in the very beginning of the document, it says, we are in the midst of a great reset. Protection of national interests are at the top of the agenda. Economies are being reshaped. Alliances and supply chains are being rewired, and the frequency and severity of weather events are increasing, and social expectations and norms are being revised. So they tell you these things word for word. And in this trend number 5, they talk about new asset classes. We know crypto is a new investable asset class
And so at Hidden Road, we've been pretty consistent with this from the start that we think crypto is the 7th liquid investable asset class. It's encouraging. There's lots of folks now referring to it in the same way. Investors, retail and institutional, all have their money invested in 6 asset classes: equities, credit, rates, commodities, real estate, and cash. And crypto is definitely the 7th. And if that is happening, then its trading and investment mechanics will migrate towards best practices trailblazed by the other asset classes.
That is now, for the first time ever, picking up pace at a very rapid speed. It says here in this document to expect the integration of new asset classes to pick up pace over the coming years. So expect appetite for integrating new technologies into the existing assets to remain high. And so this is a wake-up call directly from one of the largest organizations in this space, telling you guys that this is all happening for a fact. Now, coming over here to another document. In this document, we're going to be listening to an individual expert named Paul Brody from EY. Now, why are we listening to these organizations? If you all don't know who EY is, EY, or formerly known as Ernst & Young, is a multinational professional services network. It is one of the big 4 accounting firms and provides services like assurance, consulting, tax, and strategy transactions. EY helps businesses with various aspects, including financial audits, risk management, and digital transformation. EY is one of the 4 largest professional service networks globally, alongside Deloitte, KPMG, and PwC. So it would behoove us to pay attention to some of the things that these industry-leading experts from these firms say to us publicly on stage that go relatively unnoticed. And it says right down here in the bottom of this document, titled Blockchain and Crypto, the financial system and these technologies will be central to a financial sector that is efficient, inclusive, and positioned for a future growth in America. And right here, Paul Brody goes on to say that he sees 2 big opportunities and challenges ahead in 2025. And he believes that one of those will be a resurgence in DeFi, as people will start looking for ways to boost yield and they will turn to DeFi. Now, over here on this panel discussion that was posted 3 days ago from the Global Blockchain Business Council, Paul Brody is sitting on stage where he goes on to confirm this new world that they are in the process of building. Take a second here and listen.
So there is, so first of all, I think your point about like the bear asset is spot on. Like that is a big departure from what we've had in the recent past. And it is a big regulatory advantage, and it's one that's now going to be conferred upon everybody who wants to deploy a stable coin. But there's a couple of other things that are going on from an infrastructure perspective that are worth watching. The first is this entirely new infrastructure that's being built to facilitate a really rapid integration of stable coins. We've seen the announcement today, Shopify is integrating USDC. Stripe is buying Privy, they bought Bridge, right? What's happening is the entire like global commercial infrastructure is building a new payments infrastructure. The first new payments infrastructure, probably since the credit card industry, is being built on top of the existing like crypto rails. So new infrastructure, and there are a ton of companies that are building up all these little niche solutions. Like I have 20 different versions of a US dollar token. How do I make them all interoperable instantaneously, right? Stuff like that is happening.
So I just wanted you guys to hear this directly from an individual with credentials that this is taking place. This is not speculation. They are directly telling this to people's faces. And so many billions of people are not tapped in and paying attention, right? If you go look at how many people are currently involved in the digital asset ecosystem, it's mere millions. Maybe what, 520 to maybe 600 million active crypto users. So now is the time to be paying attention and to be tapped in to real informational research, like some of which we show you guys here in the CYPRX community. Moving over here, just to give you guys another industry-leading expert perspective, we're going to be listening to Kevin Patel from KeyRock. For those of you guys who don't know who KeyRock is, take a second and listen to this other industry-leading expert from KeyRock mention who they are. That's why we pay attention to these insights here at CYPRX.
My name is Robert Valdez Rodriguez. I am the Chief Commercial Officer at KeyRock. KeyRock is a global algorithmic market making and trading firm. On one side, we are the dedicated market maker for many of the large foundations in the industry, as well as on the OTC side, many of large hedge funds, both crypto native, TradFi, OTC desks, and so on. So trading is what we do.
So I just wanted you guys to hear directly from this gentleman from KeyRock mention that they are a market maker. Yet again, people with credentials that are telling you guys straight to your face that everything is coming on chain. So now that you understand that we're listening to a market maker in the crypto ecosystem, listen to what this gentleman, Kevin from KeyRock, says in this panel discussion that still to this day only has 66 views, which just goes to prove my point that not enough people are paying attention to how transformative all of this truly is.
Recently, KeyRock helped issue a report about the great tokenization shift. Why did you feel like now was the time to do so?
Well, I think the main reason is that, so KeyRock, we started in 2017, already back then, so 7 years ago, we were saying, eventually all assets will be digital. And, I think that's been kind of a recurring song that came back, every year, that accelerated a bit with DeFi summer, then deflated somewhat. And then what we're seeing is that we are now really at a tipping point where, the different necessary pieces of the puzzle. So not only, of course, the technology, the infrastructure, but also the regulatory framework, which allows, greater and greater institutional involvement. But we see that all those different pieces are actually there now, which is really bringing us to a tipping point. And I think the purpose of this report is really to inform, is that this is not about a theoretical shift anymore. It is happening. It is happening with some of the largest institutions in the world. It's happening not only on stable coins, not only on T-bills, but also on private credit, also on equities. We are seeing the shift, and the purpose is to really inform the market about how concrete this shift is, and of course being there to support. It is in our interest as a market maker, as a liquidity provider, as an investment firm, to really see this market grow. We believe that crypto as it is today is just a proof of concept and will eventually encompass all traditional markets. And the purpose of this market is to showcase that we are now at this tipping point, because basically all the different elements are starting to be there.
The point of this report is to show and inform people that crypto is encompassing all traditional financial markets and that this tipping point is finally here. He mentioned all the pieces of the puzzle are finally aligning: regulatory clarity, infrastructure, proof of concepts. They're done. They're turning to live production. Now is the time to start to pay attention to gentlemen with credentials like this who are telling you guys that this is taking place, instead of the fear-based narratives that are being manipulated and broadcasted out to you guys to keep you all sidelined. I'm sure you guys can relate, where you have a relative, a friend, or a family member that is still sidelined from participating in crypto because of past crypto-related events that have scared people out of their socks to getting involved in this ecosystem. Now is the time to put that mindset behind you, to understand the digital transformation and the shift taking place behind the scenes, and that the largest organizations in the game in recent developments from this year have told you guys that this is happening with or without you. Now's the time to get involved. Now's the time to be a part of a community of like-minded individuals that are tapped into insights like this. As always, bringing you all some of the realest research in the game. Make sure that you stay laser focused. This video breakdown was more so of a reminder to show you guys where we are currently at in this ecosystem. It's still going to take some time, but understand that the transformative shift that we have all been expecting and anticipating over the past consecutive couple of years is coming much faster than most people, I believe, are anticipating. With that being said, as always, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe to the platform. We do appreciate the love and the support, and I will see you guys in the next video breakdown.